the instructions for Baxter the bear. So you can see straight away you've got all the dies you need plus extras as well. So you've got the dungarees, I'll show you how to cut those. You've got the pocket that goes on the front of the dungarees. You've got the little sort of honey pot, if you like. Then you've got the ears, and I'll show you how to do those. And then the little nose, that's purely optional. You can always embroider his nose, and a bone. So you've got some little extras there as well. So in here, if you look inside, it tells you exactly what you need to be able to create Baxter the bear. And that's what he looks like. I'll show you the back. So down on my desk, I have everything ready now to start putting him together. So I've done my body, I've put my legs in, and I've stuffed the body. If you're not sure how I got this far, look at the first video about how to make the basic body. The arms are ready also, they're stuffed, stitched, stuffed, ladder stitched together, and they're ready to put on the outside of his body. I've also embroidered his face, and here are the ears. So the next thing I need to do is to stitch around my ears, leaving this piece open, and then we're going to insert those into his head, and I'll show you how to do that. You've also got your layers of fabric for his dungarees. So for each pair of dungarees you need 4 pieces of fabric, and I've got these all folded on the fold. So for the dungarees you need 2 pieces of fabric and twice over, so in other words you've got 4 pieces, but you're going to fold those in half and layer them up just like we would if we were doing our bag making. And our die is going to go cut side down onto the folds like that, and just hang that die just over the edge slightly, so you might need to get some tape just to hold that in place. So that goes through your die cutting machine just like that. With the pocket, a piece folded over, you're going to get the pocket piece and die cut that. You're going to stitch it all the way round, turn through, top stitch this so you've got a nice neat pocket, and then attach it to your dungarees, but I'll show you how. So the next stage is we are stitching around the ears, turning through and placing on the head, ready for stitching round, and I'll do that now. So what I've done here is I've stitched an ear and left it so you can see, and I've used my pinking shears just to neaten it and take some of the bulk of the seam away. This one I've already turned. So now we're going to turn this one and pop them onto the head, ready for stitching the head together. So it's literally a case of pushing that through. And obviously you can use something to help do that. So I've got a lovely little stick that I use just to pop in there. You could use a knitting needle, and that kind of gets those curves really nice. And you can then finger press this or press this with your iron. It's entirely up to you. So once you've got that turned through and to your satisfaction, you're then going to pin it onto your head. So it's right sides together, if you like, with the right side of the ear facing down, and then all you're going to do is pop it in place with a pin. Now I would stay stitch this before you actually pop the head together, so just try and make sure that you've got the ears kind of central, and don't worry too much about the curve on here. I would just ease that in as you go, so start with your edges meeting here, and then just stitch all the way around and just get that curve going as you stitch around. So I would start here and stay stitch these ears in place by going all the way round, and then what you're doing is putting the other part of the head together right sides down, and then you're stitching all the way around. So if you remember, if I do it that way, you'll see you're going from here all the way around to here. So I'll do that and then you can see that in a second. So before we go away, let's just see what else I've done. I've die cut the dungarees, they're ready to go, and the pocket as well. So with the pocket, I'm going to stitch all the way around from here all the way around to here, just like the ears, turn through, tuck that 1/4 inch seam allowance under so it's nice and neat, and top stitch that and pop it onto the dungaree. And I'll do that so you can see. So one of these dungarees I'm going to open up, and once I've stitched my pocket I'm going to place it on there and top stitch down. So with the dungarees you've got 2 pieces for each, so this is going to be the front and this is going to be the back, or vice versa, they're both the same. So the first bit of stitching you're going to do with right sides together is to stitch along here and here, and then from here all the way around there. And it says to stitch the armholes, the top edge and the bottom edges. You're going to repeat for the same. So I'll do it, then I'll show you what I've done. So now you can see I've put the ears inside the head there, I've stitched all the way around, I've used my pinking shears here to actually take some of the bulk away, and then that's ready now to turn through. So there's you can either grab hold of, I tend to use forceps to get in there to actually help turn through. Maybe you can use a knitting needle or something like that. This is quite handy for grabbing bits, whether it's a bit of seam or in this case an ear. So that does help to pull it through. And it's the same with the legs and the arms. If you use something like that it all helps. So then this can be turned through. And again we'll just get a nice tool in there just to round that off. And if you think some of this might be creased because you've turned it through, once you put your stuffing in it's fine, it flattens all out really nicely. So that's ready now for stuffing. So all I would do is just get a little piece of stuffing. I tend to use my forceps again, and all you're going to do is feed your stuffing through the neck, and until you're satisfied with how it looks, whether it's really full or whether you keep it flat. But you keep on using the stuffing until you're satisfied, as I say. So just sort of keep popping it in and pushing it through and easing that into the head. And I'll finish that off in just a second. So I'll keep doing that. And keep that raw edge down. There we go. It'll want to tuck itself in because it's just the nature of it. There we go. So keep stuffing that until you're ready. So with the clothing, what I've done is I stitched the pocket together round here, turned it through, turned that top edge in, and I've top stitched that. That actually is a pocket. And then I've just top stitched that on the front of the dungaree. So you decide which piece, it doesn't matter because they're all identical. But that's now the pocket. So with this particular size, so that's the front, those 2 pieces are the front. These 2 pieces here are the back, and there are 2 pieces. So what I've done, difficult for you to see, but what I've done is I've stitched all the way around here, and I've snipped into these corners here. I've stitched across here as well. So the next thing to do is exactly the same with this pair here. So right sides together, stitch around here and here. So with this one we'll turn this through. Now I would definitely give this a nice iron. And you'll need to poke those corners out. So we'll just get something in here to do that. So this is the top of the dungaree that I'm poking out here, and this is round by the armholes. And again, like I say, I would give this a nice press. So your legs are going to be, or the seams of your legs, or the hems would be, are really lovely and neat because they're folded over and well neatened. So now you can see the shape of it. So I'm going to do the same with this. Stitch along here, here and all the way around. And then what we do is join the 2 together. And all you're going to do there is stitch right sides together, and I'll show you, zigzag them finished. So it's down here, and up and round there. Zigzag it so it's nice and neat, turn it through, and the dungarees are done. And all we would need to do is use perhaps some ribbon, back and front, just to make the straps, but I'll show you that in a little while. Right, so what I've done now is I've actually attached my ribbon to the top of the dungaree. You can see this is the front, that's where the pocket is. And if I flip that over, you'll see what I mean. That's in readiness to put on my bear. I've also stitched around those sides down there, and I've zigzagged them so they're neat. And I've stitched from there to there and zigzagged again. And I've snipped into the crutch area there. So all you've got to do then with these is to turn them through. And then you're ready to put them onto your animal. And in this case, in this particular one, the bear, we put the dungarees on before we stitch the arms on. So it's just worth bearing that in mind. So before we actually put his dungarees on and to actually finish off the straps and pop his arms on, we need to attach the body to the head, and we do that so he's nicely fully stuffed. I think his ears could have been a bit rounder, but never mind. But we're going to do a ladder stitch to join one to the other, so I'm just going to quickly show you a couple of stitches of that, and then I'll show you how these work and how the arms go on. So literally you're just going to get your needle and thread, a little knot in the end, and this is where you really do need a knot. I'm not a keen fan of knots, but anyway. So you're going to pop your needle into the fold on one side. So these top edges, the same with the body as with the head, they've been folded in about 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to secure that knot so it's there ready to go. And then what we need to do is to slip stitch that on the head onto the body. So literally all you're going to do is run your needle about 1/8 inch along the fold. So I'm not going through any layers of fabric, I'm just literally running through the fold where that 1/4 inch is folded under. And then I'm going to come up through the other side here, and then I'm just going to run under there again. So you're running under that folded fabric all of the time. So I'll just do that again. So your needle in about 1/8 inch, and you can see I've got this sort of ladder effect with the stitching. Bring your needle over to the other side, run it under about 1/8 inch again, and you can see it's quite easy to actually control. And then once you've got round so far, you can then just gather all those stitches up, and it closes that neck off beautifully. So just use your regular thread, your polyester thread, or for strength you could use an embroidery thread. But as you go around, just do 1/2 inch or so and then pull those stitches together. So we've got to thread this side, so I'm going across to the other side, popping that needle through that fold and coming through to the other side, running the needle across that underneath that fold. And you, like I say, you can see you've got a sort of a train track effect going on there. And as you go around, as you do a little bit, you're pulling that together. So let's just pop that needle in there. So now you know how that head is stitched to the body. With regards to the dungarees, you need to put these dungarees on before you put the arms on. It just makes it easier for you. So pop his legs through. Just pull those through. Looks quite cute, doesn't he? With his chicken fabric. It's the Bliss. No, it's the Riley Blake Sunday. Get it right. So you can see that this comes so far. Obviously that's going to stop just there. And then if you flip him over, bring the back up, and then once you've stitched the head on, just pop those straps over his shoulders and attach them on the back. And you could decorate the front with a little button. So they're just going to go round the back, and you're just going to hand stitch them onto the back of the dungaree. That's how they would look. And then what you're going to do is ladder stitch your arms on each side. So each of those, and it's going to curve in like this. So each of those get ladder stitched on as well. So that's how you make up Baxter the bear.